Our conversation with candidates for town council continues. Here's Warren County Report's Roger Bianchini.
In light of what has happened so far as real estate, personal property taxes remaining flat, and the $350,000 about in law enforcement funding you've gotten from the state, there still is about a $650,000 shortfall. Among the options on the table are so-called luxury taxes, a meals tax of up to 2 cents, I believe, a lodging tax of several cents, and a potential cigarette tax. What is your attitude on the use of so-called luxury taxes as a way to make up budget shortfalls when it comes to the point where you can't cut services anymore, as opposed to real estate and personal property taxes?
To the second part of your question, as far as to where services couldn't be cut anymore, we're not to a point that we couldn't cut services. We would like to keep services where they are at a minimum. Could we go to a more of a minimum? Could we have less police officers? Could we have less town staff? Could we provide fewer services? Yes, but we like what we have. We would probably like to increase those, but we have a status quo that's working for us, and in these economic times, we need to stay the course that we're at. As far as the so-called luxury taxes, in my mind, they work better to subsidize your income as opposed to a real estate or personal property tax, because real estate and personal property tax, in my opinion, are necessities. You need to have a place to live, and in this day and time, you need to have transportation to get you to your place of employment or wherever it may be so that you can have that place to live. So to tax those vital necessities, that's an option. We already have that in place. We also have some luxury taxes in place, meaning the lodging tax and the meals tax. We make choices to go and stay somewhere. I guess for locals, if you have to stay at a hotel or something, it could be because of a fire or something, and that may not be a choice in that situation. The lodging tax primarily is a tax that's imposed on those who live outside of our area. A meals tax, on the other hand, is something that we actively choose to do. I can choose to go out to a restaurant and eat, or not to. I can go stay in and eat. A 2-cent meals tax is, I don't think someone's going to go and factor in that if I go to a fast food restaurant or I go out to somewhere to eat, that you're going to do that little bit of math in your head and think that if I go and eat at this particular place compared to another place outside of our community that has a different tax rate, that it's going to cost me 40 cents more at the end of my bill. But I can see the point of, well, it could cause more of a burden on the establishment, meaning the restaurant or something like that. Front Royal doesn't have a lot of chain restaurants inside of it other than the fast food type restaurants. I would rather look, since we already have a meals tax, I would like to look at other options that the state gives us, because there's such a thing called a Dillon rule, which is a law that goes back 100 plus years that states that a municipality, the town of Front Royal, is only allowed to do or tax what the state says you can tax. We can tax meals, we can tax property, we can tax lodging, we can tax tobacco products. That's something that the town of Strasburg has, Middletown has, the city of Winchester has, Luray has just recently imposed one, I believe the town of Shenandoah. So a lot of communities around us have this as another means of income to help pay for the services that they provide. The town of Front Royal doesn't have one, and it would be a means for us to take in additional revenue for an item that is a choice. It's a luxury item, so to speak. I'm the only smoker on the Front Royal Town Council. I can choose to purchase cigarettes or not purchase cigarettes, but at the same time, in the same vein as a meals tax, I can choose where I want to go to purchase my tobacco products and pretty much set the rate of how much I'm willing to pay, because one establishment may charge one rate, whereas another establishment may charge a different rate. That's without a cigarette tax or a tobacco tax. if we put in a nominal cigarette tax, I think we've discussed a 10-cent potential rate. The early estimates are is it could produce up to $250,000 of additional revenue for the town. We would have to add one employee in the finance department to oversee that, which would maybe take about a sixth of that total revenue. So in the end, you're talking about $210,000 in increased revenue that could help go towards police departments, could go towards beautifications. You could even put it towards your library. The town really isn't in the health department business, but we could use it for programs within the police department. We could use it for beautification. I know that Blue Ridge Opportunities came and helped the town clean up the gazebo area on a contracted basis, and the workers came over. They helped clean up downtown, and I believe initially they cleaned up, I want to say it was 2 garbage bags full of cigarette butts just from the gazebo and Main Street area.
I know that to be a fact.
And to me, in paying for those services and paying for a street sweeper, you know, a tobacco tax can help offset that that cost, and we could actually earmark part of that money for those services. So again, I think that an item like that is worth looking into. Will it pass? I'm not sure, but given some of the constraints that we've put on this council, we have to be creative. I don't think it's something that's going to hurt us or that it's an exorbitant tax that's being proposed compared to it's something that other communities have already done. So I don't see the citizens of Front Royal running to these other communities when they already have a tax. And so they're basically in the same boat as we are. And again, it is a so-called luxury tax. It's a choice.
So you don't fear that the extra 2 cents, just in the perception of the general public, might drive town citizens into the county to competitive restaurants with town businesses?
You're talking about the meals tax.
Meals tax, yes.
With the meals tax, again, that's something that council needs to discuss. I would like to see us, we already have a meals tax in place.
Same as the county.
We have the same as the county.
4%.
The Virginia General Assembly looked at the possibility of counties being able to charge more than the 4 cent that is currently, that's the max, that's a cap that was set by the Virginia General Assembly, that counties can't charge any more than that. This year, a bill was proposed in the General Assembly to allow counties to charge up to 6 cents. That measure failed. Given that fact, I think that the town needs to stay its course of 4 cents currently, to leave us on a level playing field and leave the restaurants within the town on a level playing field with those in the corridor, and to look at alternative taxes, meaning a cigarette tax at this time.
Okay, so stay away from the meals tax, but look at the other luxury taxes.
I think that that's safe to say, yes.